Welcome back to the Get Reelisms podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it for another episode 126. I am still Adam Chase Rennie.
I am still very much Christine Chen. And we have a special guest today. I'm excited because she's wearing a shirt that I designed. What is your name, special guest, and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Aimee Joie, and I'm an actor and content creator, and mostly known for doing all of my film crew parodies. Just how I got in contact with you fine people.
Now that is how did it all start? Like the first one I saw, well, okay, I saw two of them. The one where it's like you come in and you're different roles, that was one of them. And then the second one that it just like I lost it was the AD one.
The AD one is great.
As an AD, I just was like, this is the best thing in the world. Especially when you're like crying in the car.
Yeah, that's been me.
You cry in the car.
That was from personal experience. You can't ever let them know.
When you cry, I just laugh so hard. I was like, oh my god. You're like eating snacks.
Yeah, stress eating.
Yeah. So yeah,
we've all been there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So how did you come up with the idea? Obviously, being in the industry, we all want to make fun of ourselves and stuff, but like you created these very amazing characters.
Thank you. The first film crew TikTok I did, which really was meant for TikTok. It was a TikTok trend where they were showing people in different scenarios walking in slow motion to the song Mr. Blue Sky. And yeah, it was a couple months into lockdown, COVID 2020. I was trying to, TikTok was booming. I was like, I need to be making more TikTok things. And I really hadn't been doing a lot of trends because most of the trends are awful. They're still awful, honestly. But that was one I felt like, oh, well, maybe I could do this. And what's a scenario that I haven't seen before? And I thought of a film crew. I'm like, I've got, stuff, and I could easily whip up like, 8 or 10 characters and just dressed as them really quick. I filmed it. The first segment of that, filmed it probably in like 30 minutes, thinking no one's going to watch this. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, up to that point, hardly anyone was watching my shit. So
right.
It was like, oh yeah, no one's going to watch this. Not even wearing makeup, for most of it, like whatever.
But did it feel like innocuous to you? Did it feel like it was just another video? You're just like, I'm not going to go anywhere with this.
No,
wow.
The funny thing that day, and I don't know if my friend Samir is still watching on Instagram, but through a lot of COVID, we had a live stream we were doing on Facebook called the Book Club for Movies. And that day, which we would always film in the afternoons, we happened to be doing a thing about cats. And I was like, well, I'm going to do cat makeup because I'm bored. And I remember really rushing to get through filming this TikTok, thinking like, well, I still want to get it out there because this is like trending, but I want to spend more time doing this cat makeup. So that was my priority that day, was turning myself into a cat, which I did. And then put it on Instagram, put it on my Facebook. Still wasn't like people actually, like, they were watching it, but wasn't anything super crazy, but definitely was getting comments of like, oh, this is so great. And a lot of people who I know in the industry enjoyed it. And then I was thinking like, well, where are some places where I could share it? And I had never heard of the Movie Set Memes page. And I found it and I joined it. I was like, oh, this seems like, and this was the old Movie Set Memes, which
it's now like Movie Set Memes number 3 or something. I don't know. How many
they had a falling out with. That's a whole other thing. But I posted it on there, and it was like instantaneous. My Facebook notifications started just going off, and I was like, what
That's crazy.
What is
Yeah.
happening?
Because I saw
my
that
God.
video like circulate even on film Twitter at one point, like during the pandemic. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
it's gone viral on pretty much everything except YouTube. Like even on people, like even just like earlier this year, it was trending on LinkedIn. Like I'm not even
What?
on LinkedIn. And people were then following me on Instagram, like, I saw your video on LinkedIn. I was like, well, I don't know who posted it. I hope they credited me. And you were able to find me. Yeah, but there was just all of a sudden this demand from the first segment of that TikTok of like, we want to see more characters, and it was like no one had ever done this. No one had ever. I guess because everyone's working, but
Right.
no,
Well,
no actor had
yeah.
decided to, I guess, be that self-reflective of their industry. And I really just kind of hit something that no one had done before, which I really lucked out in that sense. And then people just, they wanted more, they wanted to see themselves, and it just kind of built from there. And 3 years later, I'm still doing it. It's still what I'm best known for. It's turned into countless videos, videos that are specific to different departments, like the shit ADs say.
Yeah.
I've been able to work with a lot of film related companies, including yours, when you guys hired me to do a promo for your Get Reelisms book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, and I'm kind of have like a weird cult following whenever I am lucky enough to be on film sets.
That's
People,
awesome.
they recognize me and they're like, "That's you." I'm like, "Yeah."
It was just really hit. Like I think you just
Yeah.
nailed it when it came to all the issues and problems each department, faces.
And you nailed
and
it
stuff.
like specifically too. It's like it's very
It was like
specific.
extremely specific. So it's not like something anybody could like it was like so specific. You'd have to be in the industry. You'd have to experience that. And they were just like very in common problems that we all just kind of suck it up and deal with, and you just like put it out there. And it was just the AD one. I just lost my shit. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, everything. It was like, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Now a lot of the shit videos, when first just the TikToks, before I was even speaking, I didn't say anything in those. It was just me walking through making some weird face in slow motion. But I was getting so many critiques from people, mostly men. I'll show off my
of course, yeah,
mansplain to me shirt.
No.
But it was a thing. You can get yours on the Get Reelisms website.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But it's like everyone assumed that I knew everything about the film industry just from these things. I said, I don't. I will be the first to tell you that I don't. So when the first shit video I did was shit grip say, because the first one I did,
I was going to bring that up.
Creepy grip.
I love that video.
I was expecting everyone anyone to see this video, and I just thought of like, oh, I'll have the grip at, he's the creepy grip, because there's always one.
There's always one.
Usually,
that's from
yeah.
my own experience too,
Yes.
and a lot of women can contest to that. And sometimes the creepy grip could be a woman too, so it's not even just a man. But I got a lot of backlash from that, which is why I started creating all these other characters. But people were critiquing me like, why does that grip have a stinger? They wouldn't do that. They were like, that's the wrong type of gloves. I'm like, yeah, I'm using my mom's garden gloves.
Yeah,
It's my
dude.
mom's garden
gloves. Sorry.
I feel you. It was the same thing when we created the book. We got so much. It's always cranky grips or something, but they're like, you know what? You wouldn't. That would never happen, or a PA would never touch a Apple box, or like blah blah blah. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Like...
So with that, that's when I opened it up to pretty much anyone who wanted to submit a line. I had things on my Instagram. I was like, okay, I don't know everything about being a grips. Why don't you tell me? Tell me about your job. And it's continued since then. I haven't done one in a while, but on most of those videos, there's a lot of line submissions from people who actually do those jobs, because I have not done every job. I've done quite a few things, but I've not done everything. And that is what makes them so accurate, is the combination of my characters, my interpretation of their line submissions. Some of them were just verbatim, like that is just funny on its own. Some I would take inspiration from things people would send me. So it really has been a collaborative effort.
Yes.
And that is why they are so accurate.
Yeah, they're just everything. I'm just little bits of, or the 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 foreign DB. There's just so many things. I like the grips that seen some shit. Yeah, seen
Yeah,
some things. Oh my god.
yeah, he's still one of my more popular characters.
um, who is your favorite character? You just said the grip who's seen some things, but
Yeah, he's pretty endearing. The character that I think I relate to the most is a really frantic PA character,
oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
I have been that person,
yeah.
not even necessarily as a PA, but thrown into other positions where it's like I don't know what I'm doing.
And like
I'm,
they're
I'm
speaking a
in my
different
early
language to
20s.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm the type of person where I am not afraid to ask questions. Like one time I was doing somehow I was an AC on a short film, and the DP was like, "Oh, like, can you get me, a donut?"
yeah.
And like I went down, I looked at the camera case with everything, and I went back up. I was like, "So when you say donut,
Yeah.
what is that?"
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's not an actual
Donut.
edible donut.
Right. Yeah.
And then they explained to me what it was. Like, got it. See it.
Oh.
Here it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, but
that was the
I
thing.
have been there and like constantly afraid that I'm going to screw up. And
Yep.
I've worked with some nice people who are understanding of like, they can see that I don't know what I'm doing. And I've worked with some not so very nice people. So and then that's when the crying in the car stress eating takes
Yeah.
place.
Well, it's just such an accurate and appropriate thing to even talk about. As much as I feel like even the creepy grips like is an appropriate thing to talk about, because I mean it all applies. So to even have any bit of criticism, it's just like, okay, well, have you been on set? Like, I mean, there's a lot of these people, especially the PA at the end of the day, just like fucking just sobbing at the end. It's
Yeah.
the fucking best. And it's
Our
accurate.
co-creator, one
I
of
have I have driven back from LA sobbing
Oh God,
after
yeah.
working on
Even in
something.
Austin, I
Fortunately, not
do that.
recently, but like some
Yeah.
of the first, couple things I've been on, was like, oh, like one of the lines I had in there was like, is this what it's like being on set? And that's what a couple of my first experiences were like. I was like, God, this is what I've wanted to do for like most of my life, and I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
But
yes.
that's actually my question.
Our
Oh, go ahead.
wait, Adam, wait. Our co-creator, Kelly, who's the illustrator for the book, actually just made a really
Nice.
funny comment. She says it gets even more confusing when you work on a food commercial.
Yeah, like what donuts? Really?
Oh God,
Where are the
yeah,
donuts?
that's right. Shout out Kelly. No, but I wanted to ask you though, Aimee. Like, did you work like because you prefer acting, right? So have you worked
Yes.
like different departments, and did you glean anything from them besides like gold TikToks? Did it feel like it informed you of like why you wanted to act, or was it like the other way around where it's just like you've always wanted to act but you just needed to understand the set kind of lingo and atmosphere and all that before you can establish yourself as an actor?
I do think it's very helpful as an actor to have an understanding of what goes on,
Mm-hmm.
of, even just like, ask questions of like, is this
Yeah.
a close up? What lighting are you using? Yeah, and just so you're not like a dick on set,
Right.
which
Yes.
some actors have that
Protective.
reputation.
Yes.
And I've always been a performer, ever since I was little. So I have always had that acting bug in that sense. I'd say in middle school and high school, I really saw myself more getting into directing.
Oh, okay.
And I really was just like, I'm gonna be like when Catherine Bigelow won Best Director, being the first woman, I was both happy and also like, wasn't me.
Dude,
I was like
me too.
17 at the time.
Oh my gosh, I think that shattered so many women's straight because I was like, oh no, now I can't get
I was
the
really
first
happy for
woman
her.
director.
I didn't think it wasn't
Yeah,
deserved or anything, but it was just like, but I wanted it to be me.
Yeah.
Which at that point would
yes.
probably be another like 50 years or something. But
Yeah.
it wasn't until I was heavily involved in drama in high school, so acting all throughout then. And then I went to UC Berkeley with my degree in film studies. And there were a couple years during college where I didn't do any acting.
Okay.
And I kind of realized how much I missed that and how that was really like an outlet for me, because I am so, I mean, I'm actually like my friends who know me know that like I have like two modes. I'm like quiet, chill, like introvert, and then I'm like I'm performing, and acting is a place where I could do that in a appropriate setting that's not like in real life.
Yeah.
So, and I really just I love acting. I've always been interested in comedy, and so with that I kind of realized like I think acting is more of what I need to do. I still have an interest in directing. I still have directed things since making that decision. Yeah, but acting is definitely what the ultimate goal. But I'm also, I do a lot of writing. Everything you see, I have like full on original skits that aren't film crew related, where I wrote the entirety of those. I had a web series pre-COVID called The Bumblebums, and I wrote all of those by myself. As far as doing other jobs on sets, mostly working on short films throughout the years, but I've done camera work. I randomly was in charge of costumes on a short film, which I don't know why they thought that, but I just basically had to steam things and give the actors correct costumes.
Right.
So that was pretty easy for that particular one. Not costumes in general. I have been an AD a couple times. I was an AD on a feature film. I was an AD on a short film.
And being an AD is so easy.
Different experiences.
Yeah,
so
different.
I've talked about many times, was awful.
Yeah.
Wanted to quit everything. And then the short film was great. So, yeah, and I'm always, when I am on set, and of course I've done tons of background. Whenever I have done background work,
I love the background.
Yeah, so that is one with shit. Background says I wrote that one entirely by myself. I got no input. It was like, I have enough experience with this. I have been there. I have experienced it. I have met the people in holding. I do not need anyone's help on that.
Background. No. Just not union background.
Yeah, no, that happens. Yeah, that's happened a few times. I think that one in particular draws from, I did one day of background years ago on Hail Caesar, the Coen brothers film, and I was so excited to be there. I was just like, I love Coen brothers, some of my favorites, and I was like, I can't believe I'm here. I'm in like full period costume, curled hair. I look amazing. We had to get there at 5 a.m. and all this stuff, and they had, of course, it's a major feature film. They have union background, and that would happen a few times of like, we're all excited to get up, and then it was like okay, let's all get ready, and they would line us all up, and they'd be like, okay, well actually we have to use the union background first. Like, okay, I'll go back to holding. And I only was actually on set it was the final shot of the day. So when I was finally on set, I was so excited. See Roger Deakins sitting there behind his camera. I was like, I can't believe this is finally happening to me. I'm here. This is so great. After just like being pumped up, ready to go for like over 12 hours already. And yeah, it was one shot, and then they wrapped for the day. I was like,
fuck.
Yeah.
The ultimate build up. Oh man.
Yeah. But it was still, I was so happy to be there though. But it was getting to the point too where I think I included this line in that video, was like like, can I do something else? Like, can I be like, give me something to do?
Yes.
I want to be on set. Like, I'm sitting in a tent that's set up in the parking lot of the LA Forum.
Yeah.
In
Jesus.
like December.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
harsh
funny.
LA winters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harsh LA winners. Yeah.
But I definitely I can be very quiet on set, and and even before doing these videos, I just watch. I want to learn things. This is what I've always wanted to do in some aspect, and I want to learn. I want to observe, and that's what I do. I will sit there and watch. And now there are people, when I have been on set and they know who I am, they'll see me watching and they're kind of like, we better watch what we say.
Yeah.
She
She's gonna
might
put
use
in
it
the video.
against
I was
us.
like, I mean, I don't name names,
No.
but,
But just so you
but yes,
know,
I'm watching everything you do.
yeah, exactly. TikTok
Yeah.
video coming soon. Yeah.
As soon as I get back to my phone, I'm like writing in my notes app what I've heard.
Oh man, that's same. Oh yeah, I'm the same way. All my friends, I noticed when you came back with when we collabed on our thing and you came up with that first part, and it was super fun to ping back and forth with you on the structure of the script. And so I was like, yeah, you're a writer. I think
Yeah.
I have huge respect because when I started making content, it was also short form skits as well. It was all writing it, testing it, getting a friend or two to be in it, and then just quick, very quick short form, like I guess you call webisodes now or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
when YouTube came out, and I thought for a little bit, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTube star. Then I realized how much time it takes, where nobody gives a shit about anything that you put out. Um, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
My YouTube is still my least popular channel.
It's hard,
I
man.
would.
It used to not be when it first, when YouTube first was a thing. I remember like putting out something and just getting like thousands of views instantly. But now, whatever logarithm and stuff is just, it's hard.
It just pushes you
Or
down.
I think they
Yeah.
force you to have to pay for it. That's what it is. You have to pay for like
Yeah.
ads for you to
Yeah.
be able to see anything. But
It's
you
crazy.
touched on something that I thought was really important, is that a lot of this stuff is not, it's not that like you need to be good at it, it's perspective, and having that perspective and understanding someone else's role will help you become not an asshole on set, or better, because
Yeah.
because you have some context and you understand why certain things take longer, or why that job is important and everything. And that's been my experience as an AD, when I AD new directors who have never worked a single crew job in their lives, and they don't understand why makeup takes 30 minutes, and it's
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
lighting.
it's usually
Yeah.
men. Yeah, but they're, yeah, and they're like, it should be 5
Mansplain.
minutes. They're supposed to not look like they wear makeup. Well, that, yeah, exactly. But that's the point.
Yes. Yes.
It's not wearing
That
makeup
that
is
can take
also a sort
longer.
of kind of makeup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Men wear
Yeah.
makeup?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
No.
He's a dude.
I worked with a director that was like, well, they're just or this is for costumes, but they're just wearing regular clothes. I'm like, that's also a choice. That's also a design choice. Yeah, even though
Yeah.
they're wearing
Yeah. I think
regular
anything that's not
clothes.
period costumes is like,
Yeah.
yeah, just go to Walmart, pick something up.
Yeah,
Pick up some khakis.
exactly.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I do think it's important for not just for actors, for other departments, and especially directors, to have an understanding of
Yes.
Absolutely.
what you're telling people to do, what it involves,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think everything could possibly go a little smoother with some people. Not with everyone. Some people, there are a lot of people that do get it, but there are still some people I'm like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's, I think that's, that I think a lot of your characters in each position contextually has moments where somebody was kind of ignorant and said something, like the DP who's, who wants to change everything all at once, or has no prep or anything. Again, all of that is a lack of understanding why someone else's job is hard and you're just making it very difficult, and everything. Will you how's the strike stuff been in terms of creating content? If you create all the all the strike stuff you've corrected, I watch it religiously, so it's very funny.
Me too.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. I'm a follower. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have felt pressure. At least I don't know. I haven't really had people. So like when in 2021 when IATSE was about to strike,
Yeah.
I did have people messaging me saying like, "Oh, like please do a video about this."
Yes.
Um, and I haven't really had that with this,
Okay.
but I kind of have put pressure on myself, thinking like, "This is what I do," and then the somewhat selfish part of me is like my videos blew up in 2020 when my audience wasn't working, and they're not working now.
Yeah, no,
So
you
I better
should.
put content out.
Yeah,
Just
it's like SNL, but like, and it's, I mean, what it reminds me of is like when there was a string of very funny Trump videos, or like Tina Fey or what
mhm.
during the political runnings and stuff. This is like that.
Yeah,
It's a
Sarah
it's a
Palin.
social
Yeah,
commentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's
No,
like
please.
now's the time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have done a few strike videos. I actually have one that I filmed yesterday, that I'm probably going to put out on Tuesday. I was going to put out tomorrow, but we'll just have to see what's going on with Hurricane Hillary.
Oh, great. I know. I know.
It's so interesting as a content creator to try and gauge when the best time is to post something, because in the world we live in, it's like here's another natural disaster, here's a mass
Oh,
shooting that happened, and
yeah.
Ugh.
which of course are in the scheme of things more important than me making my little videos. Like, I'm just trying to entertain people.
Yeah.
It's like it's never the right time to post something. So I'm gonna try posting on Tuesday. Hopefully, uh, Southern California and Nevada aren't hit too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hopefully
already been
we're
downgraded, and
okay. I'm
here in
looking
San
on like,
Diego, it's raining. It's been raining pretty
yeah.
steadily since 3 in the morning. But yeah, it's such a crazy time right now with the strikes going on. Um, I last weekend I was in LA, and I was at a really wonderful event called Drive for Solidarity, which is unofficially an IATSE event. And talking to a lot of people who are members, they're everyone in the industry is hurting right now. It's obviously not just the actors and the writers. If the actors and writers don't work, no one's
Nobody
working.
works. Yep.
And it's not like literally everything's shut down. There are still things like, I know, a lot of commercials and independent
Commercials.
productions, and you basically have to get, and of course non-union things. Um, a lot of people are really hurting right now. There was a woman who was doing my hair for this event, and she's been in the industry for over 20 years. She's a department head, and she said, she's like, I'm losing my health insurance.
Shit.
This has only been
Yeah.
going on for like a
Jesus.
couple of months. Um, so yeah, it's crazy. And I've only gone to, of course, I live in San Diego. So that same weekend, that following Monday, I did actually make it to one of the strikes, which I went to the one at I was at Warner Brothers. That was last Monday, and it was really great to actually get to be there and just be there with everyone, and then just kind of surreal to think that, like, and this was just last week when I was there. At that point, it's like, the writers have already been doing this for over 100 days,
Yep.
and there are some people, they're out there every day, or at least every weekday in the
Yeah.
mornings. And I like to think things are, there's a light at the end of the tunnel here. I know that the writers met with AMPTP, or AMTPA, as they call them,
Yes.
AMTPA. Um, I know that they had some negotiations again. I don't know if anything came out of that, but I saw something else where there were some other companies who are invested in all these major studios. I think they're starting to put pressure on them, saying like, "Hey, we're worried about our
Yeah.
investments here," which unfortunately might be what it takes to get these
Jesus.
people to actually do something. Is when they start losing money. But it's the world is watching right now. There are so many unions that are in the film industry that are having their own issues and have for years, and it's really just showing the corporate greed, capitalism going too far, and I'm really hoping that some good will come out of all of this, and I'm sure it will. It's just a matter of how long.
Well,
um,
that's my question though. Like, I mean, you've been to the strikes recently. What's the temperature check on like some of these actors' like thoughts of everything that's going on? Is there a feeling of like we're gonna like come to the table soon, or like what's the overall vibe of what's going
um,
on?
I didn't really hear anything in that regard. I think when it comes to actors, we always have job insecurity.
I mean, yeah.
I know. I have a
Like,
I have a friend who I asked who's in SAG. She's like, I'm always unemployed, so this is like nothing
yeah,
new.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
and just show with everything that's been coming out with SAG, which of just saying like, you have to make $26,000, I think it was, through SAG to even qualify for health insurance, and over 80% don't qualify for that. I was like, yeah, and there's been videos made about that where there's one guy, I forget his name, but his video went viral where he was saying he was just like, "We'll do this all day," like.
Oh, right.
We
Oh, yeah, yeah,
already have
yeah.
job insecurity. Like, this doesn't phase us at all.
Yeah.
So
Unemployed? I've been
I,
there.
I do think it's interesting in regards to the actors, but again, it's affecting so many other departments.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who, of course, anyone, no matter what type of job you or position you have in the film industry, there's always some level of job insecurity. But I like to think that actors, unfortunately, have it a little bit more. So again, I just like think we're used to. I mean, like me personally, I'm not affected. I'm still non-union. I only recently qualified for SAG, so for me, it's just like I'm still doing non-union things, especially what I can get in San Diego. I want to be SAG. I want to, as soon as they resolve everything and I have the $3,000 to join, then I
Yeah.
do want to join, and I want to be a part of that. That's obviously, as an actor, like a career goal. Um, and it's what you got to do. It's a stepping stone. But I felt like when I was there, people were still, it was a very positive experience to actually be there. I felt like morale seemed to be pretty good. They had music playing. I think there is this sense of like, we're all in this together. I know that IATSE has had a couple events where, including I think on Tuesday in LA, they're doing a big solidarity event. I'm not sure which studio they're going to, but I don't know. So everyone's in it. Everyone's in it. Everyone's trying to help each other out. I wish that, of course, they could be doing this anonymously, but I kind of wish that more multimillionaire A-list actors were donating more money to the strike
Yeah.
fund and helping people out. Not to say that they aren't, but I just was like,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I want more
acknowledgement
here.
too. Oh, sorry. What
I
did you
went
say, Aimee?
to one of the strikes at Disney, and it was with a group. It's the Alliance of Women Directors, and it was really nice to go. I felt like the morale was a positive in terms of we're in it together, like you said, solidarity. Uh, got to run into Adam Shapiro. He was super cool. He during the pandemic he started a Pittsburgh what's it called, pretzel company, Shappies, and so he was going in giving that like to
So
different
fun. I think
taking the
he's the
runs.
one whose video I saw that I referenced earlier of him being like,
Mm-hmm.
"We
Yeah,
could do
he's
this." Yeah,
awesome.
I'm pretty sure it was his video.
Yeah, but he was super cool, like donating his time and energy, and I don't know. I think I think at least it seems like from the actor standpoint, they're like when I asked my friend who is SAG, she's like, yeah, I'm so used to being unemployed. This is literally nothing different. like we're in it for the long run.
Yeah, which
yeah.
isn't to say that it still shouldn't happen.
Oh no, it
And
Of
shouldn't
course
happen
not.
that way.
Yeah.
I think a couple of people I talked to at this event I was at last weekend who are IATSE members. I think there's because again in 2021 they barely didn't get the vote to strike then. And I think that there were a lot of people that were unhappy with the leadership then. I'm not sure who's been reelected at this point, but I'll be really curious to see what happens with IATSE, assuming everything turns out well with the WGA and SAG when the next IATSE contract comes back up, which I believe would be next year. I think it's every 3 years. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. And hopefully they'll get it because they got like a slightly better deal from my understanding, but still wasn't even close to what they were asking for. And most of it still seemed pretty unreasonable to me as far as like the hours.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is like the AI scanning thing. There literally was a Black Mirror episode on that. Like, really?
I know, like that just came out. Which also is funny too, because it's like Netflix made that. I was just like,
Yeah.
the people doing this though?
Yeah, I was like, that's a big fuck you to everyone. Like, you literally made something about what people are fighting for, but you won't budge about it.
Right. Well, it just
So
feels like
ironic.
unawareness from every single corporate ladder. You know what I mean? It's just like every single studio in most of these places, they're just like, oh, AI? We love that. Let's just have all of the AI content. Do you like true crime? Well, your entire algorithm is just going to be true crime because I watched one documentary.
I don't want to like
I'm personally okay with the true crime thing, but
yeah,
I mean, it terrifies me though.
I think AI probably has its place and is a positive thing, but it's more just how to use it responsibly. It's like alcohol.
Yeah, I think there's some really cool things that can be done with it.
Yes.
Like one example was the new Indiana Jones movie.
Yes.
And that technology was incredible at the beginning, where I think Harrison Ford, the way I saw an interview, the way he explained it was he was like, they have all of my previous Indiana Jones movies and they were able to just scan my face. And so that was just my face, just like it was already photographed, and it's just a matter of putting it all together. And that's really incredible technology.
Totally.
However,
right.
Does it need to be used for everything? When there are human beings and writers and I know I've seen a lot of signs at strikes of saying like AI hasn't had emotional trauma or generational
childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Childhood trauma.
Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck, recreating that and have it being authentic.
Well, I just don't see.
It's a weird time where it just all of a sudden it seems like it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it, and it's like, how did this become an issue? But kind of like, let's get ahead of it before it becomes too crazy,
right?
And go ahead and say we don't want this.
Yeah, I mean, for background actors, you know what I mean? Just replacing background. Show up one day and then that's it. In perpetuity, they have your face forever.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
For not even that much money, not even getting like
a couple $100
or something.
Yeah.
It
blows my mind.
I've seen casting notices for non-union things where they're like, oh, like we want your likeness for this, or I've never submitted to things too where they even they want your likeness for a video game. I see that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a non-union thing too, so it's just like it's not even the pay isn't even that great. It's like, well, how long are you gonna use this?
Yeah.
Which is such an that's something that's unique to acting and modeling, I guess, like anytime where they're actually using your image. And I can't think of any other industry where it does that, but it's you need to have some rights here. Here, my friends here saying, look what happened to hand-drawn animation in the wake of CGI. Yeah, and there's still some people who they miss, and people are so confident in this new technology. I remember when that happened. I believe Princess and the Frog was the last 2D animation.
I was literally about to say
and that was a while ago. And then they were just like, we're just shutting this whole department down. Just
Yeah, no more
firing
2D
everyone.
animation.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like, but people are still enjoying those films like decades later.
I'm not gonna lie.
Almost 100 years later.
Lilo and Stitch still holds up. You know what I mean? And Princess and the Frog still holds up. I don't care. Like, and I Frozen's fine. I like 3D animation. It's fine. It's fine.
I do too.
But,
but it doesn't have to all be like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to all be that way. And 2D animation can still like make motherfuckers cry. You know,
Yeah.
like it can still. The Lion King, Bambi. I mean, if you want your entire year to be ruined, yeah, just watch some of these movies. And again, like Pixar make really emotional films and whatnot, but like 2D animation is just like. I was just actually having this conversation with a friend. It was like I watched the Spider-Verse again, like Across the Spider-Verse. And I just like I keep marveling at the idea. I keep marveling at the idea of like. Why isn't it that most of these studios can see this and know that like, oh, there's some like level of really great emotional like impacts that come from all these characters? That's completely made up. It's made up. It came out of thin air. You know, there's no actors you see visibly, you know, but you still feel all of the fucking feels and the emotions and all of that. And my friend was like, yeah, but, you know, 3D animation, I guess you can capture that a little better. I'm like, I disagree. Like, I think you can capture it.
No, it's all about story.
It's all about
what it comes down to is story. It doesn't really matter what medium you choose. As long as
Oh, well, look at like Studio Ghibli. They're still cranking out incredible
Miyazaki,
2D animation. And then anime in general, that's all still
anime,
extremely popular.
Yeah, it's basically like daytime television for most of like Asia, you know? It's just like that's just kind of what they watch. Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Sam said I prefer the 2D animation. Ain't no key watching Lion King remake now. We are watching the OG when we want our fix. Yeah.
And then everybody wants to reboot these motherfuckers, you know.
I know. Well, yeah.
Or live action.
Disney live action remakes.
Yeah. Woof.
I have. They're kind of hit or miss for me. I did watch the Lion King remake, and there was no denying that the technology was incredible, but it did not pack that same punch.
No. Yeah.
Or it was like, why something that looks more realistic to me, and it took the fun out of it too. It was like that's something so fun about the original Lion King was like there was color.
There was color.
Like the just can't wait to be king number. There's like feathers and birds. It was like there's none of that in this.
It's like a David Attenborough documentary at a certain point. It's just like, why am I fucking watching a National Geographic thing? Fuck. Like
we're expecting to watch the lions actually like mate or something.
Well, yeah, that's fucking weird. Yeah, and they're making
a lion penetrates the female from behind. It's like what?
Yeah, exactly.
Cavastos 8058 said they give royalties for other art forms. The same should apply to using someone's likeness. Sorry, going back to AI, so I'm trying to go back.
Yeah.
And then Sam said the animation from Reboot also has not aged well. It already looks bad. Yeah. I just think that it's just all about storytelling, and with animation, what we get is that I think there's like a separation. Like when it's not super real, there's something about when it's very realistic and like Zootopia I thought was brilliant because it's touching on very prominent world issues. You know, there's about racism, there's about all this stuff, but like because it's told in this medium that you're kind of there's like a degree of separation from it, you're able to see it without with less judgment, in my opinion. Like you're watching it, you're like, oh, I'm just watching a cartoon, so like I don't have to have my defense mechanisms up, and I'm not here to and then you're like, oh shit, I just learned something,
That's how the liberal agenda gets you.
It's through animation.
The woke liberals
making commies getting in there with their Disney movies. Yeah.
Commies getting in there with their Disney. How dare you?
Well, we
yeah,
should
but
open up
going back
to some.
the strikes and how much just technology with AI, animation, streaming, it has changed so much even in the last decade, and
Yeah.
currently people's contracts do not reflect that. So
No.
that is
Sam,
something that
Sam says exactly what I was trying to say, which is when it's trying hard to look photoreal and something is clearly not real, it stands out. With hand-drawn animation, there's a built-in understanding that it's an artistic interpretation of reality. Exactly.
well
It's
said,
what it
Samir.
is.
Well
Very,
said. Yeah.
It's what
very,
it
very
is.
well said. Exactly. I'm gonna open up to Instagram questions, but we don't have to wait for that. So if something pops up, so people out there who are watching this, if you have any questions to ask Aimee, you should. And yeah, so it sounds like through your personal journey as an actor, that would you say the way to, if somebody out there wants to be an actor or whatever, would you say the way to go about it is to just experiment on your own and create content, and that's how you
Yes.
rate? Yeah.
I definitely gained the most success from finally making my own content, which I really wish I had started doing sooner. Despite me being super outgoing, there was still a fear I had for years of like, oh, this is embarrassing. I want to put this out on the internet. Like, I don't know. No one's even gonna watch this. And then finally, I after years of I still don't book a lot of stuff. Um, despite, I mean, in 2021, I managed to make the most money I've ever made through acting that year, and a lot of that was from paid promotions, um, mainly film.
Film related, yeah.
Yeah, film. Sorry, film related content.
Uh-huh.
But prior to that, like I mentioned earlier, I had a web series that I started in 2019, and it's still I wasn't really getting the not nearly the same success I got with just doing things on my own, um, which is kind of sad because those were like well produced
Yeah.
things where I had a crew that wasn't just me. Um, but if you have the time and the resources, and at this point, you literally just need a phone and some basic editing skills, just to get started with things. All the videos I have done where I've gone viral, I'm just filming with my iPhone 11 Pro Max. At this point, it's a 3-year-old phone, still using it, still great, and that's how I've been able to get myself out there, because you can't wait.
No.
And it's like you ain't getting any younger. And I think it was finally when I was in like my late 20s where I was like, this need every year I'd have friends and family of kind of like still being supportive, but kind of the hint of like, how long are you gonna keep doing this?
Oh, Christine and I talk about this
I get that
all
all
the time.
all the time. We
Yeah,
have
it's
one
just like
question real quick. Sorry. Somebody asked, Glenn asked, how do you feel about crowdfunded movies?
I think they could be great, especially
Yeah.
for independent productions. I don't necessarily have a whole lot of experience with that. I think it could be a great way to not have backers who are supplying all of the money, and then because of that feel like they have a say over things creatively.
Yeah.
Which that's not always, but that's otherwise kind of notorious for people having these crazy ideas of if Samir is still watching, going back to Disney animation. I think there was someone, I want to say it was Jeffrey Katzenberg, whatever his name is. He wanted to cut part of your world. I'm
Oh, I
pretty sure
didn't
it's
know
that
that.
song of just like this doesn't need this.
No.
It's a slow song. And it's like,
Oh, it's the
and
most
that's, like, the
iconic
best
thing
song
ever.
from
Yeah.
that movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like, you
Wow.
maybe shouldn't be making these creative decisions.
No.
Like, that's why you're paying these other amazing people. Yeah, here's Samir. Um, yeah, so with that, I think crowdfunding could have a great opportunity to keep. It's like these are people who just they want to see a good product and they care. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
of course, it could be very difficult to do that depending on your budget and how much money you want to raise. But
Right.
especially for independent productions, you got to get creative, and that's something that's been going on for a long time. I have there's a really good book called My First Movie, and I know in that there's a section that with the going back to the Coen brothers, their first movie, Blood Simple, their first feature film. I think they got a bunch of dentists
Yeah.
to contribute money. I think they had like $1
Yeah.
million budget or something, and
Evil
I don't know
Dead
how much
2, I
they.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just you do what you can. It's
Yeah.
art.
Well,
Samir
If you're
said,
passionate enough about it.
yeah.
with regards to the song, he said the kids looked bored during a test screening, and Howard Ashman had to threaten him to keep the song in. That's the story
Yeah.
of it.
Meanwhile, there's videos of my
Wow.
my sister being 3 years old knowing that song by heart.
Yeah.
Just a couple
Yeah,
years
that's what
after
I'm
that movie
saying.
came out, like in 1990, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's like
kids are
saying
gonna like it.
yeah, exactly. That's like saying "Let It Go" from Frozen is not that. It's mid. It's like, man, I think we could take that out. It's like, oh, it only generates 9 billion streams. Fucking
Samir
Jesus.
said, "What's one of the most creative ways you've seen a problem solved in an indie film production you worked on?" That's a good question.
Ooh. Uh. Oh God.
Oh God.
I have to think about that one. I think just I do think that in general the lower budget you have, the more creative you have to get
Yes.
of still trying to achieve a high production value look.
Yeah.
So whether it's even things like, oh, you're getting close ups of people driving and there's just some grips back there just like shaking the car and like
Yeah.
swinging a light around. It's like totally practical effects, not on a green screen kind of thing. So I've seen some pretty interesting things in that regard of just like, wow, like it looks great, you can't tell, but it's like we don't have the money for this, we don't have the money for a dolly, let's have someone sit on a swivel chair and someone push them kind of a
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
it will get the same result.
For me, I've seen it mainly in I think writing, when you lean into, when you have your limitations and you utilize those limitations and you lean into it, find to be a very cool creative solve. So like, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, but like, oh, you don't have, I don't know, you don't have equipment you can only use your phone. So writing that in and that being a POV, a phone leaning into the fact that everything is shot with a phone. The reason why that's on my head is because one of my friends just released like a found footage horror film called #Chad the Axe, and it was all told through the perspective of influencers that are using their phone to try to
Yeah,
film something. Yeah, so yeah,
creative.
just I think creative storytelling. I think some of the best storytelling, and I think that's why some directors, their first or second films are actually their best ones when they didn't have money. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably the influence of these uh you know producers and studio heads.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's there was a podcast where Ava DuVernay said that it's like um it ceases to be directing at that point. It's directing by committee. It's no longer when you're
Oh,
working with
wow.
studios. It's your I see it. I mean, I see it on a small scale
Yeah.
from just doing client commercial work, and you just see like the director saying things, but like they are getting like 50 notes from the client,
An
and
oligarchy.
it's really the
Yeah.
client that's directing it, not really the director's just the puppet, basically. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I did something. The thing that actually finally got me my SAG eligibility back in June. I was a day player on something that it'll eventually be a lifetime Christmas movie, and this director had seen my stuff. I actually play a film crew member in this film just for one day, and she found out that I was non-union, and she, bless her heart, she fought for me to get in it, knowing that I'm non-union. And the producer at the time he initially said no, even though this is the director who, is completely qualified, has directed countless things, like amazing working director, total badass mom. And the producer initially had said no because it was going to be too much paperwork.
Stop.
I was like,
Stop.
Yeah.
and and that's something like this. It's like, I need this in my career. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't had this opportunity to be a day player and finally become SAG eligible. I've been trying to act professionally for over a decade now, and here's just one guy being like,
Gatekeeping, be like, I don't want to do the paperwork.
yeah,
Like, shut
I'll
up.
do the paperwork.
Yeah. Fucking push that pen, boy, now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it ended up working out, but I do think that this director had to pull some strings. But yeah, but even then, it's like you're someone who's the director and still having to answer to the producers, even though
Jesus.
they hire this director and trust her creative decisions and capabilities, and yet all it takes is someone else's opinion and be like,
Exactly.
well, let's do this. Like, why did
Yeah.
you hire me? Why
Yeah.
did you?
I'm only been
Yeah.
trying to do this for my entire life, and you're just there, just kind of like blocking the way. Be like, oh, you want this cool thing? Well, you can't have it. So sit
Yeah,
down.
like,
It's just like, are you fucking
yeah,
kidding me?
that's gonna cost us a little more money than we initially thought.
Oh,
$50.
Aimee,
So
the
we might have to cut it,
paperwork. We just can't handle the paperwork, Aimee. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I was like, I'm sorry, you have to fill out a Taft Hartley. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Here's my name. Here's my address. Here's my social.
This is where you need to
What do
get
you
the
need?
You should just have one that you just already filled out halfway, and then you just like
Yeah.
hand it.
sign it. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
here it
Just
is.
put the date on it.
Sign,
Yeah.
Just
Sign
sign
the
here.
project.
Yeah. Just sign here.
Yeah. But it's weird. It's a weird, and I still don't have that much experience on the larger budget productions. Unfortunately, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks I know everything about films. It's like, but I still feel like a nobody, and I want to be there. I want to be where you are and doing things. And but it's a weird world. It's a weird industry.
It is it's so weird. I know.
It's like by luck and skill and yeah.
I'm so glad that you are somebody that was a self-made person in terms of like just fucking just did it and started to create your own stuff and just build traction from that, because I really believe that that's the way that if you're wanting to get into this industry, that is really what you need to do. And not to bring it back to get realisms, but like that's really why me and my founders wanted to make it. We wanted something that would make film not so gatekeepy and more like everybody can do it type thing. And we wanted something that your mom would understand the lingo and everything, because I just felt like when I like you having your first PA experience, when I had my first PA experience, I didn't know any of this stuff, and people looked at me like I should know this when I was born out of the womb, and that like you're an idiot, and I didn't like that feeling. But luckily I had great people around me who were kind enough and patient enough to tell me and explain stuff to me. But I've been on sets where I've seen where people don't have that grace and that compassion to do that, and they just treat you like shit. So that's why we wanted to make it. Started with the book, but it's become more of a brand. But the brand is really like, hey, if you love film, you can do it. You can just pick up your phone and create stuff and just start taking control of your own destiny when it comes to your filmmaking career. And yes, hopefully, you'll specialize in something, you'll get more experience, you'll start to work with the real stuff and whatever, but there's no shame in just freaking writing your YouTube sketches and film with a phone and just practice. It's practicing. We're just practicing. We're just practicing the art of storytelling. So I just think it's super cool that that's you embody that, I just, man, when I first saw all that stuff that you started to come out with, and I still love, I am a big fan of the Say Yes to the Dress sketch series.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been watching your other stuff as well, so it's really neat to see you, create and write and direct. I'm very excited. You are a director. I don't think you're trying to be or anything. You are. You're a
Yeah,
writer
I do
director.
consider
Yeah.
myself a director still. It's something that uh, I would still like to do it at some point
You are
on a larger
doing it.
scale. Well, yeah, and
Yeah, yeah, I
but
get what you mean.
I do like working with actors, and besides just, I mean, yeah, I guess in a sense I'm directing myself.
Well, no, but like some of the best directors are
Myself.
actors, Sorry,
Yeah,
Christine.
I agree. I do think that's, if anyone's watching out there who wants to be a director, take an acting class.
Honestly,
Yes.
yeah,
Whether
that's
you're,
good advice.
you could suck, but just know what
Yeah.
it's like to
I agree.
do it, to take direction yourself, see
Yeah.
what you like, what you don't
No.
like, and see how that can
and-
apply
and-
to working with other actors. But yeah, but
Yeah.
my fantasy dream is I'll become a big director or a big actor, and then they'll just let me direct whatever I want.
Just
you
hand you
know?
the
They'll be
keys.
like,
Greta.
Yeah.
like, hey, I want to do this. You're like, sure, Aimee LaJoie, here.
Yeah.
$20 million.
Here are
Make
the
something.
keys.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, yes.
No, but like
But,
I
a ways off from that.
right, yeah. Well, no, but I've had that experience too. Like I'm not good at acting at all, but I've definitely taken improv and I've done like drama classes and whatnot, and I feel way more. I feel like is connection the right word? I don't know, but like I feel like I can talk to actors way better than I could have even before that. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't take that before it, I'd probably be like, I don't know, look sad. It's just like, what kind of direction is that? It's like, can you be more funny? It's just like that's not a no. Yeah, So
okay,
they just look
ways I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like taking those improv classes or acting classes can help shape the way that you can form your language to the actors, because you can't apply the same logic to crew members. You can't say the same shit to an actor to like the lighting people. You know what I mean? I mean, you could tell them what the story is going to be and what this scene in particular is going to be about, but like there's it's nuanced, right? You can't say the same shit to every single department, let alone the cast. So I feel like that's yeah.
Well, yeah, going back to
So
how people should be familiar with each other's, or what goes on in each department. I think the same thing could be said for crew members. I think everyone should take an acting class at some point. Not only do
honestly,
I actually think acting should be a required course in high school, just to take even like beginning drama one semester or something, because it's, even if it's not something you want to do, it really helps you, with public speaking. If you can get up and do a monologue, you could certainly go up and give a PowerPoint presentation. But I think, and I've experienced this more with the feedback of, because most of my characters are more film crew, and then that being my audience, I see so many comments of like throwing shade at actors of like, oh, like the actors have it so good on set, and the actors, like whatever. And of course, in many aspects, they do. However, it's just different. It's just a different thing. It's a different kind of challenge that they have to go through, where it's like, yes, they might have their air conditioned trailer that they go to, and they can have a break, but then they have to come back out and they have to give this raw, dramatic, sobbing, screaming performance, and then have to do that like 20 different takes. And I'd like to see some crew members do that. At the same time, some actors that can't do something, so it's just a totally different thing. And I think that everyone should be more understanding of each other, no matter what the position is.
Yeah.
From A-list actors all the way down, even PAs, or not, sorry, PAs. Background has their own hardships.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you just have to sit there all day. It's like, yeah, but we're literally just sitting here all day, and sometimes it's like, it's hot to the sun.
Right.
You have to hang out with people who you're like stuck with, who are awful.
Right.
You can't leave holding. Just weird little things like that. So every department has its hardships.
Yes.
So I just think everyone should be nicer to each other.
I think,
Yeah.
like I said, it's all about perspective. It's just understanding. You may not, even if you have zero plans of ever becoming makeup artist, an editor, or whatever it is, knowing just a little bit just gives you that much more compassion, empathy, and respect for someone else's job, so that you're not like myopic and only think that your job is the most important and everybody else's isn't.
Yeah.
So I think being able to that's exactly, if people would take a acting class, then the director might know doing 50 takes of this one very dangerous stunt is probably not a good idea, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I firmly believe in that. Off topic, but when I did my film Ursula, we had actresses that had to wear mermaid tails, and I went and swam in it to see how it felt.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
glad I
Yeah.
did, because it helped me understand, like, okay, what kind of stamina is needed for this? Do I need to come up with a backup plan because this is difficult, and all sorts of stuff? And if I hadn't done that, I would have just assumed that this was a cakewalk and probably fucked myself in the back end in terms of, preparing for the shoot. So yeah, I just think it's important. Perspective is important all around for every single department. Yeah, because it helps with respect and understanding. Yes.
Yeah,
I think
and even
that's
going back to talking about the makeup of like, why is this taking 30 minutes? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you do it.
and I
You see how
always
good
want
it's gonna
to
look.
punch the person and be like, have you ever had to curl your own hair? Like, have you ever done that? It takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not damage your hair.
Exactly.
Right.
Somebody said, let me see, we had one comment. Devin Kumar said, hey, Aimee, you're an amazing actress. I
Thank
agree
you.
too. So yes. Yes.
Well, it is prime time for this podcast to take a landing here. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a little over an hour. Thank you so much, Aimee, for taking time out of your day to hang out with us and do a potty with us. So we appreciate you. And
Well, yeah, thank you guys for having me, and
Yeah.
I've loved working with you guys in the past, and hope to do something with you guys in the
Yeah,
future.
I
If you guys
do.
ever want to do another video,
Yeah.
I love collabing.
Please.
It was so fun collabing with you. Just going back and forth that script and like telling that I had a lot of fun. So as a writer director, it's like, oh, I get this. Yeah. So
Right. And
thank you.
I feel like we only scratched the surface too. So you got to come back and talk way more, especially about acting and directing and stuff, So you have you have the Discord link. So you just hop in on any given Sunday and just be like,
I'll hop in on someone else's and
right.
hijack the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just come in and just be like, I'm the host now. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Director character.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Wheels are turning.
Thank you guys so much. You know what it is. It's the Get Reelisms podcast. So get on getreelisms.com, pick up your book, or get yourself a sweet mansplain t-shirt modeled by Aimee.
Yes!
Let's go.
Don't mansplain, everyone.
Don't mansplain. Get your book.
They sent me like every t-shirt they make.
I
Yeah,
did.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have every position. I was like, all right, or this for this position and this for this position.
But listen, I like the t-shirts too. It's subliminal advertising. This is what dreams are made for.
Oh yeah.
But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. I don't think we're gonna have an episode next week.
Yeah, I'm going to Burning Man.
Uh-oh.
I'm filming for them, so yay,
Oh, wow.
gotta be there earlier. Yes. So
Yeah.
it won't be until September 4th, around that week, when we're gonna start back up again. But it's nice. So you ended our was a hiatus from the podcast for a little bit. So this was a great end to the next round of podcast.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, man, it was so great to talk to you. Huge fan. Love your work so much. Keep on creating. Definitely want to work with you again. And like your stuff is awesome. So
Well,
love
thank
your
you.
content.
Yeah, and everyone stay tuned. I'll have a new video coming out on probably Tuesday.
Yes, everybody look out for Aimee's new
Yes.
video
I'll be
on
looking out for
Tuesday.
that.
Film crew related video on Tuesday.
Yes.
Let's
Watch
go.
it. Share it. Share it. Because as we know in the independent world, sharing is caring. And it helps.
Yeah,
Every little
it really
bit helps.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my followers are sick of me. Like saying like, if you liked it, share it. It does
Yeah,
help. Helps
but-
everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Because we can't depend on the algorithm. I mean, what does a computer know?
I can do a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's why you got to come back, Aimee. I mean, this is content, baby. Let's go. That's been
Next episode, I'll just be ranting about the algorithm for an hour straight.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and how AI is gonna take over everything. But again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. So in the meantime, pick up your Get Realisms books and everything swag. We love you. But that's about it, Christine. We're gonna go now. Okay, that's it.
All right.
It's always a trouble trying to dismount these fucking podcasts because it's just like what do I say? Bye. So
Thank you guys. Thank you.
thank you so much, Instagram. Thank you so much, Facebook. We love you, but we're gonna go now. It's time to 10-1. Okay.
1.
Thank you.
Wrap.